Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 25th, 8:24 a.m. And we are on the way to get her cast off.
Yay!
Yay, cast off day. So, I'm about to pull into the doctor's office right now and we'll hope for the best. What's the first thing you're going to do when you get your cast off?
Ask you to go to my cousin's house to play.
Go to your cousin's house to play?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah,
Well, we can at least maybe.
They have bowling. They have bowling.
Do they have bowling tonight?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can at least go get some ice cream. Well, it's too early for ice cream, but how about breakfast? Just you and Daddy.
Yeah.
Go get an omelet.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go get omelets.
Big grime on my hand.
Yeah, your wrist is gonna feel weird probably.
This way. Alright, slide it. Nice and slow. Take your time. There you go. There you go. Good. Let that out for you. How you feeling?
Good.
Okay.
You all right, honey?
Yeah.
There you go.
Haven't seen your pinky in a while, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
That's it. I'll be right back to take.
We can do this. I'm going to have you just do a big deep breath, okay? We'll go 1, 2, 3, big deep breath and out, and then I'm going to move fast and just pull them, and then we're going to be all done.
Just close your
Okay?
eyes.
So 1, 2, 3, big deep breath. 1, 2.
Done.
We're all done.
You did good. All
You
done.
did awesome.
Cast is officially off. How do you feel, big girl? Feels good? Yeah, you're able to wiggle it a little bit. Just a little bit. There you go. It's gonna take some time. Ready for your omelet? Yeah, me too. All right, so finally I am out for the day. It is 11:01 a.m. Daughter's at home playing video games, getting that pinky strengthened back up. I didn't work yesterday. I went ahead. I came out. I did one offer on the way home from taking my wife to work. I came up to my spot and I sat here for like 15, 20 minutes and got nothing. So I went home. I was like, you know what? This is the perfect day to take off. Slow. It's Monday. I know I won't be missing out much. So I went home, raked the backyard, played some PlayStation, watched some TV, did all kinds of stuff. So we're back out here today. I will let you know what I get. First order of the day, nothing bundt cakes. $7.92 for 3 miles. When I was standing there waiting, I had a Olive Garden come in, $10.02 or $10.08 for an additional 0.9 miles, so not even a mile. So a banger of a double order to start. $17 for like 4 miles. Not too bad. Off to Olive Garden we go. Nothing But Cakes is already in the back seat, and we are headed to Olive Garden, which is just half mile this way. All right, got a little Five Guys order here. 1.7 miles. Bright sunny day. Pretty nice out. 48 degrees. Doesn't feel too cold. From the north, so if you're in the south, like my boy Matt, who watches my videos, is in Alabama, you might say, fuck that 48 degrees. Anyway, finished that Cracker Barrel order. 16 something for 7 miles. Nice little order. Drove back to my spot, waited a few minutes, and got this one. So $6 for 1.7 miles. Off we go. Nice and easy. Hidden tip on that one, it was actually $7 for 1.7 miles. I'll take those all day. $7 for 1 mile. You barely use any gas. But 115 now. Been a pretty good day. Like $60 already. In about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So for a Tuesday lunch, can't really ask for much better. About as good as it gets on a Tuesday lunch. We'll see if we get anything else. I don't have to pick my child up today because it's spring break, so she's at home with the wife. Wife works from home today, so they're both at home. So I don't have to worry about picking her up from work either. So I can just stay out. We'll see how it goes here. The lunch rush is about to... Sorry about the traffic noise. The lunch rush is about to slow down here, I would imagine. So I started raking the backyard yesterday. I got like almost half of the backyard done. Man, it's a lot of leaves. It took me like a good hour just to do half of the backyard, and that's just to get it in piles, not even to bag it. Probably should have just went there, damn it. So I still got to rake up the other half of the backyard and bag all of it. Child just got her cast off, so I'm probably not going to make her help me. I'll have to get the wife to help me, and she's going to hate that. She's not what you would call outdoorsy. She likes her reading. She plays The Sims almost all day. And yeah. But she leaves me the hell alone. We stay out of each other's way. That's why it works so well. Heading back to State Street now. See if we can get something juicy, but I doubt it. Alright. Chipotle order collected. It's going downtown. And the instructions, the delivery instructions, that says call when you get here, and then the phone number or whatever. I hate call when you get here orders. Can't stand it. I mean, I know sometimes people are like, they're at their job or whatever, maybe they're in a big facility or something, and maybe in their mind it's easier if I just call them. But usually it just makes things more confusing. It's awkward, for one. I hate talking on the phone in general. I absolutely hate it. Like, my wife calls me on the phone. I send her to voicemail every time. I hate it. It's like, why would you call me when you could just text me? That's what, I mean, in these apps, you know I'm coming. You know you ordered food. You know I'm on the way. The app tells you when I've arrived based on my location. Why do I need to call you? And then half the time when I do call, they answer the phone like they're not expecting a phone call. Like, hello? Because they don't recognize my number. Like, hey, this is Joe with Doordash. I'm here. Oh, okay. I'll be right down. And then like 3 minutes later, because they weren't being attentive to their app, they come down the elevator or stairs or whatever it may be. Then it's just a whole bunch of extra hassle that isn't necessary. Hate it. What are your thoughts on call me when you get here orders? Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe y'all don't care. Maybe it doesn't bother you. I know some people it doesn't bother. I see other YouTube dashers that they don't seem to have a problem with it. I mean, it's not a big deal, obviously, but it's just, I don't know, it's a minor annoyance. I have a lot of minor annoyances, if you haven't discovered that by now. But that's all. Customer's like 17 minutes away, so it's going to be probably about 2 o'clock by the time I drop this off. So the official end of lunch rush, which is technically, according to these apps, 11 to 2, and then dinner rush is like 4 to 8, something like that. That's what they consider the rushes. Doesn't mean you can't get stuff in between, but doesn't mean it won't be busy in between. Sometimes it is. We'll see if it is today, because I will stay out, and I actually have to get gas. Damn it, I should have got gas while I was up here, because there's a few spots that are like the cheapest in town right up here, but I dropped the ball on that. So I guess I'll have to get it downtown somewhere and pay 40 cents more per gallon. Son of a bitch. But gas prices add up. If you're paying, like right around here, the gas price is like $3.49 a gallon right now at most places, and there's a few cheaper spots, like Walmart usually has cheaper gas, and then we have a Woodman's grocery store, which is known for cheap gas. And obviously a Costco, but I'm not a member there right now. They're like $3.09 a gallon. You might think, that's 40 cents a gallon. Stop bitching. Yeah, over the course of when you drive for a living and over the course of a year, you're paying an extra 40 cents a gallon in gas. You'd be paying, that's like hundreds of dollars at the end of the year. But I'm going to see what this Grubhub is so I can decline it. I'll catch you soon. I had a conversation today with some friends about what I do for a living or whatever. Now, I've mentioned before in a previous video how I'm one of them, people that hate tipping culture. I'm not a fan of tipping culture, but I deal with it. I tip when I go places. I tip fairly. I tip a little over 20% wherever I go, if tipping is a requirement, or not necessarily a requirement. Obviously, it's not required anywhere, but had a friend just straight up ask me, like, is it worth it doing what you do? And my response is obviously yes, but it can vary depending on where you live, for one, how you operate, for two. Those are the main two things. Like, where you live is important. If you live in a high cost of living area, it might not be worth it, at least to do it full time. You can do it part time possibly, but to do it full time, let me make that clear. I'm full time. So it depends on where you live and how you operate. Are you just running Doordash? Are you just running Uber Eats? Are you just running Grubhub? Are you just running Shipt? I can't speak for the grocery apps like Instacart and all that, and Shipt, or not Shipt, but Shipt too, but Spark, the Walmart one. I heard Spark's good. I've never done it, so I can't speak for that either. But I've done Shipt, and in my experience, that's definitely not worth it. But yeah, it is worth it. There's pros and cons, just like anything, just like any other job where you would punch a clock. It's a con of having a regular job is having to punch a clock and having to be at work at a certain time every day. And if you miss work, you have to call off and have a reason. And you're only allowed so many, certain places you're only allowed so many in a certain period of time, or they'll fire you, which happened to me before. Worked third shift and lack of sleep became an issue. Couldn't get used to the schedule. Lost my job. The only job I ever been fired from, really. But so that's one of the cons of punching a clock. Of a regular job is you got to punch a clock. It's one of the pros of doing this is you don't. I don't have anything planned for this, so bear with me. There's no retirement plan for this. I think like Grubhub or one of the apps might offer something that you can pay into, or maybe that's just insurance. But there's no real retirement plan, so you're on your own for that. You don't get paid vacation, obviously, because you're on an open schedule and you work whenever you want. That could be a pro or a con, because you can just pick up and go to Mexico one day and not have to say nothing to nobody and come back whenever you want and not have to explain or put in vacation time or worry if it's going to get rejected or not. You don't have to deal with any of that. Regular job, generally you would have to deal with that. You have to use your own vehicle. That is a con. With a regular job, you do have to drive back and forth to work in most cases, which, that puts minimal wear and tear on your car. A lot of wear and tear on your car in this, so that's one of your expenses. And one of the cons is vehicle maintenance. That's one that everybody knows. Gas. If you don't have an electric car, which I plan on getting at some point. I want to get an electric car at some point, especially if I'm going to continue doing this. But gas is a factor. Taxes. A lot of people think that, oh man, you got to pay in on your taxes because you're, a 1099 employee or whatever. It's like, well, technically, yeah, but with my write-offs and my mileage and all that, doing this full time, and then plus my wife, she's a W-2 employee, so she gets a tax return back. We don't get back as much as I would if I had a W-2 type job, but we still get a nice return back. Not as much as I used to, but so I mean, I guess kind of I pay in, I guess, a little bit because we take a little hit on taxes at the end of the year, but we still get something back. And I don't pay anything in throughout the year. I pay nothing. And the last 2 years, I've been doing this full time for the full year. I made like 45 to 50K. Can't remember the exact number. So, okay money, especially for a low cost of living area that I live in. So that's one of the pros that people think is a con, is I don't pay taxes. Now, if you do this part-time, maybe it would be different. But since I do it full-time and I put a lot of miles on my car, that shit all gets written off. Is it worth it? For me, absolutely. Is it a headache? Some of the things like having to, constantly oil changes, constantly get new tires. Yeah, you'd rather not have to do that, but that's kind of what you sign up for. And I've been doing it for 3 years. Car's still running. Money's okay. I've been to multiple countries the last 3 years since I've been doing this because I've had the freedom to do so. If I was still in my old job, I wouldn't be able to get enough vacation time to do the things that I've been able to do. That's just a fact. I wouldn't have been able. I've been to like 7 countries in the last 3 years. And I wouldn't have been to that many if I was still having my regular job with my 2 weeks vacation. As you know, I make decent money doing this. That's where the second part comes in as to like how you operate. If you're not multi-apping and you're just operating on one app, chances are it's probably not going to be worth it in the long run. You just gotta you need to make yourself available to make as much money as possible if you're going to do this, in my opinion. High pay, low miles. A lot of people get sucked into these apps. They want you to maintain a 75% acceptance rate, to have access to good offers, especially Doordash, and people fall into that. Now, I know there's smaller markets where maybe that's a requirement because there just isn't enough volume to be picky, so I get that. But if you're in a medium to a large market, there's no reason why you should be worrying about your acceptance rate, worrying about, I need to qualify for good offers because I need to keep a 80% acceptance rate to qualify for good offers. No, you don't. You need to be patient, and you need to sit there and you need to decline. I don't care if it's 30 offers in a row. I've declined over 100 orders in a row before. Just sitting in the parking lot, waiting for the juicy ones. There's some days where you don't get juicy ones, and some days you have bad days, just like you do anywhere else. But the good days always make up for it. It always evens out. So people, I tell them just decline. Keep decline, because the juicy ones are usually in the back. Because they're going to offer you the shit up front. The shitty orders will be offered to you first. I guarantee you that. You decline 7 or 8 orders, then they seem, not always, but progressively they seem to get better. So that's why it is worth it for me, because I feel like I manipulate it in the right way. The apps probably hate it, and they don't want you to know it, and they don't want you to operate in this way. Because if everybody was doing it the way I was doing it, these apps probably wouldn't be making any profit because there's be so many orders that are just sitting there never getting picked up. So that's my take on it. Let me know how you operate in your market. Do you do it the same way that I do it? Do you only do one app at a time? I know there's a lot of issues with people trying to get onto these other apps. Like they have no criminal record, but for some reason they can't pass background checks. Or maybe they've been sitting on Grubhub's waiting list for months, if not years, and like can't get on. I've run into people out and about just around here that have issues. I got lucky, and I got on the Grubhub like a month after I applied, so it worked out for me. But let me know how you operate in your market, and if it is worth it for you to do it full time. Down here along the river, I just delivered here to this brewery. So the $10.75 for a 6-mile order went. Said he's been doing a better job at building up the riverfront. Got a nice sidewalk along here. You can walk across that bridge. That's been there forever though. Got a brand new library across the way. That white looking building there. Man, it makes me want to put my pole in the water. I've never fished down here. I feel like there's not much going on. I've fished further down before and didn't get a single bite. Looks pretty deep here though. I usually fish on the other side of that bridge. There's a wall that I catch all kinds of smallmouth up against. I've already been there once this year. I think it's just still a little too chilly. They're not too active. You can hear the ducks everywhere. It's a pretty day. A little change of scenery instead of having to look at my ugly face all the time. So brewery we got down here is pretty cool inside. It's a vibe. So yeah, beautiful day in northern Illinois. Another point I wanted to bring up that I forgot to mention, if Doordash is worth it or not. Oh, I got my seatbelt stuck in the door. If Doordash is worth it or not is, I'm fortunate. I feel like I'm fortunate. I've mentioned this before too, to live in a perfect sized city to do this, because it's big enough to where the volume is there, but it's small enough to where it's still very easy to kind of zip around town and you're not dealing with any high rises or anything like that. So I'm about an hour out of Chicago. Like if I was in Chicago, if I lived in Chicago, and had to deal with delivering to high rises and all that, would not be worth it. Not to me. Absolutely not. I don't have time. Just for the time aspect, I don't have time to spend the extra 5 to 10 minutes going up and down elevators, up and down stairs to try to deliver a $6 order. Like, yeah, that would not be worth it. I deliver to like 90%, 80 to 90% houses, where I just pull right in the driveway, drop it at the front door, and I'm gone. It's the easiest scenario you could possibly deliver in. And then, well, maybe not 80, 90 houses, because I deliver to businesses too, which are usually pretty easy. Most businesses, you're just dropping off at the front desk most of the time. Or if you're not, more times than not, the customer's like waiting outside for you. But that's part of, being where you live, being a factor. The cost of living is low, and I also don't have to deal with all the high rises that just are so time consuming and make it harder to make a good profit. So yeah, that's a big factor too. Little update for you. Been a little bit since I spoke to you. I've done a few orders. I got a little long on that little rant I had about Doordash being worth the time. So I don't want to try not to make this like an hour-long video. I did a ramen order. Of course, now I'm getting orders. Be right back. Just accepted an order from a bar. Just delivered it, as a matter of fact. $6.50 for 3 miles. Didn't feel like doing it, but I went ahead and did it anyway. Just did some calculating. I'm up to like $104, $105 for the day. Been out for 5 hours and 45 minutes. So for a Tuesday, it's okay. And 2 of those hours were between peak hours, so it just wasn't that busy. So I've just been sitting there hanging out, watching baseball on my phone. Now it's 4:45, so dinner offers should be starting to come through more frequently, a little more volume, and my dollars per hour should raise in the next couple hours, however long I decide to stay out, probably like 6 or 6:30. I got some smothered pork chops going in the crock pot right now. I put on about 10:30, chopped up 2 onions, a few potatoes, some celery, some carrots, made my little gravy, 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, 2 cans of cream of chicken soup, mixed together with some beef broth, cooked it on the stove for about 5 minutes, and then poured it all over everything. Seared the pork chops, made 6 of them, bone-in pork chops. It actually works better without the bone, because by the time this finishes cooking after like 6 hours, the pork chops literally just aren't even on the bone when you open up the crock pot. The bones are all mutilated and falling apart because everything's so tender. But the bone-in ones do taste better though. But anyways, it's one of my, I guess, specialties that I make. Wife and kid love it. So Gonna go home and eat that at like 6:30. But until then, we'll keep her moving. All right, well, I'm sitting here. It's 5:18. I'm trying to suck it up and just stay out here. I'm losing less and less interest by the minute. Been pretty dead for the last hour. I just had that one order, $6.50 for 3 miles. I've had some offers, but all of them were way below like $1 per mile. Obviously not worth it. So that's the update. Like I said, 5:18. Dinner rush should be starting up if there is a dinner rush tonight. And hopefully it starts soon. Catch you in a minute. Alright, so I'm on tilt a little bit right now. Uber Eats has sent me, they do that trip radar shit where you match to an order, and basically whoever's closest to the restaurant gets it because they pay them the least since it's less mileage. They sent me 3 sweet ones. One was like $9 for 4 miles. Another one was $11.37 for 4.5 miles for Chick-fil-A. And then they sent me a double offer, $19.55 for 5.3 miles. And somebody else got matched with all 3 of them. I didn't get any of them. Unbelievable. And for reference, Chick-fil-A is behind those trees right there. That's how close I am. So I went ahead and called it a day. I didn't get any of those orders that I tried to match with on Uber Eats, and I just got frustrated. And it was dead quiet. I got like one order in an hour between 4:30 and 5:30. So I decided to come home. I had dinner in the crock pot anyway, as I mentioned before. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, comment. I added my daughter's doctor visit videos. Sorry, it might have been a little squirmish with them taking the pins out, but I should have maybe put a video beforehand, a little disclaimer to let you know. But if you have an uneasy stomach, I apologize, but I wanted to share that with everybody. Pinky's feeling good now. She's downstairs playing PlayStation. I don't know if you can hear her. I can hear her through the vents yelling at her friends. So appreciate you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.